After a detailed discussion of mass-energy equivalence relation, today we are going to discuss actually two concepts. First of all, we will discuss the relativistic kinetic energy, and after that we will study a relation between total energy and momentum of a particle. So let us now first of all see how relativistic kinetic energy is defined. Actually, in the previous lecture, we have already obtained the expression for relativistic kinetic energy. You have seen that kinetic energy of a particle moving with velocity v is given as, in fact we have seen this expression in the previous lecture while discussing the mass energy equivalence relation. You have seen that kinetic energy is given as m minus m naught into c square. Actually, this is the basic formula to define the relativistic kinetic energy. You know very well what is this m naught. In fact, this m naught, you know, it is called rest mass of the particle. So this is rest mass of the particle, and this m, you know, this m is known as mass in motion, and you also call it effective mass. This is effective mass of the particle. Effective mass of the particle. And as you know, this effective mass of this particle, whose rest mass is m naught, when it moves with velocity v, is given as m equal to m naught divided by 1 minus v square over c square square root. You know it. So now let us substitute this value of m in this equation 1. So after substituting this value of m in equation 1, what we will get? We find that this t is equal to m. M will be written as m naught divided by root over 1 minus v square by c square, and minus m naught into c square. So see here, you can take this m naught as a common factor. So this will be 1 over 1 minus v square over c square to the power half minus 1 into m naught c square. You know, this m naught c square is actually the rest mass energy of our particle. Now you can write the first term in this manner: 1 minus v square by c square to the power minus half and minus 1 m naught c square. Now see this first term. You can expand this first term by binomial expansion. So expanding the first term inside the square bracket, inside the square bracket by binomial expansion. Binomial expansion. So you will see When we will expand this first term by binomial expansion, then t will be equal to, you can see, this will be 1 plus 1 over 2 v square by c square and plus 3 over 8 v4 by c4 plus so on, and minus 1, this minus 1 into m naught c square. So you can see from here, this plus 1 and this minus 1 will actually cancel out, and our result will be 1 over 2 v square over c square plus 3 over 8 v4 by c4 plus so on into m naught by c square. So this is actually the general expression for relativistic kinetic energy. But if you apply the condition of classical limit, then you will see that this result will agree with the classical formula for the kinetic energy. So, and you know what is classical limit. So in classical limit, you know, in classical limit v is much smaller than c, and so this term v square v4 by c4, this will be in fact much smaller than v square by c square. So in fact we can neglect this term 3 by 8 v4 by c4 and all other higher terms. Higher terms means the terms containing the higher powers of v by c in comparison to this v square by c square term. So when you will impose this limiting condition, that is the classical limit condition, on this general expression for kinetic energy, then what will be our result? Our result will be T equal to, you can see, half v square over c square into m naught c square. In fact, here you can see we have neglected all the terms containing the higher power of v by c in comparison to this v square by c square. So you can see what is this result. Here c square will cancel out, and you find that this t is equal to half m naught v square. And you know, this is the well-known classical formula for the kinetic energy of our particle. So you have again seen that this relativistic expression for kinetic energy of our particle is just transformed into the equivalent classical result when actually we apply this classical limit condition on the relativistic formula. So this is actually the classical result for kinetic energy. This is classical result. You know it very well. In Newtonian physics or in classical physics, we always define kinetic energy by this formula, that is T equal to half. We write there mv square, because in that condition m naught is not different from m, so we write generally half mv square, but that m is simply equal to m naught. So you can see that the relativistic formula for kinetic energy is in fact m minus m naught c square, and this relativistic result for kinetic energy agrees with the classical formula when we actually impose this classical limit condition on this. So this is all about the relativistic kinetic energy. Now actually we are going to discuss a most important relation of special theory of relativity, and actually this relation is regarding the relation between total energy E and momentum of a particle. So now first of all we will establish this relation. A relation between E and P. You know, E means total energy of the particle, P means linear momentum of the particle. How these two are related, let us see this. In fact, I am just writing this relation first of all and then we will derive it. So this relation is in fact given as E square equal to P square C square plus m naught square C4. This is the famous Einstein's relation for between energy and momentum. This is the famous relation. But first of all, we will see how this result or this relation can be proved. So, this relation can be established. So, for knowing the proof of this particular formula, we will see the relation between energy and momentum. So, to prove this result, let us start to find the value of E square minus P square C square. As you know, we have already studied in previous lecture that what is the expression for the total energy and how we define the momentum. So, you know, we have E is total energy, and according to Einstein's mass energy equivalence relation, this E is equal to mc square. And you also know P is momentum, and if effective mass of our particle is m when it is moving with velocity v, then this P is simply equal to mv. So E is mc square and P is equal to mv. Now let us find the value of E square minus P square C square. So now you can evaluate it. E square minus P square C square. You have seen just now that E is equal to mc square. So you can write E square will be equal to mc square whole square, and P is mv. So this will be mv whole square into C square. Now you can see here that this is actually m square C square, m square C square. If we take this m square C square as a common factor, then what will be in first term? There will be in fact C square, because this is m square C4 and you have taken m square C square as a common factor. So at the place of first term, only C square will remain. And here we have taken m square C square as a common factor, so the remaining term is minus V square. Now you know that this m is effective mass, and this effective mass is actually equal to m naught divided by 1 minus V square by C square's square root. And so if you take m square, what will be that? That will be simply m naught square divided by 1 minus V square by C square, and if you will take LCM, then this will be m naught square C square and over C square minus V square. So now let us substitute this value of m square here in this equation. Therefore you can write E square minus P square C square. See this. This is in fact m square C square, and m square is equal to this much. We have obtained it. So this will be m naught square C square into C square. So this will be C4, and divided by c square minus v square. And now this term, this is c square minus v square. Now you can see this term c square minus v square in numerator and in denominator will cancel out, and so we get e square minus p square c square is equal to m naught square c4, and therefore you can write that this e square is equal to p square c square plus m naught square c4. So this is the Einstein's famous relation which relate actually the total energy E and momentum P of the particle. So this is the required relation, and you have obtained it very easily by a simple calculation. Now, in fact, regarding this particular relation between the total energy and momentum, we will discuss something, but I will give an advice to you. Apart from this proof or derivation of this result, you must always remember this formula, because you can solve numerical problems only when this result is in your mind always. So this result must be on your finger tip, so that you may easily use this formula to solve the numerical problems or physical problems. So remember this formula at every time. So now let us see something regarding this particular relation. First of all, I am you can see from this relation that this E actually depends on this P, because in RHS there is only one variable, that is momentum, because you know C is a universal constant, m naught is a constant for a given particle. So in RHS there is only one variable, and that is momentum of the particle. So you can see from this relation that the total energy of our particle is actually a function of momentum. So first of all, we will find that how we can find the rate by which this energy changes with change in momentum. You can see this. So as the total energy E is actually a function of P, so our aim is to find what will be the value of dE by dP. It means by which rate the total energy is changing with momentum. Our aim is to find, ये हमारा उद्देश्य है कि हम इसको फाइंड आउट करें कि टोटल एनर्जी मोमेंटम के साथ किस रेट से बदलता है. And this can be easily calculated. You can see, you know, E square is equal to P square C square plus m naught square C4. And from here you can write what will be the value of E. This will be simply P square C square plus m naught square C4 and to the power half. Half power means a square root. So now let us find the rate of change of total energy with respect to P. So differentiate this expression with respect to P. That is, you have to calculate the value of dE by dP. You can see. When you will find dE by dP, you can see the RHS. First of all, this term in RHS will be differentiated with respect to this bracketed term. And so what will be that? That will be simply 1 over 2 P square C square plus m naught square C4 to the power 1 by 2 minus 1 nx to the power n minus 1 into. Now we will differentiate P square C square plus m naught square C4 with respect to P. You can see here C square is constant, so that will remain at its, and dC of this P square will be equal to what? That will be 2P, And m naught square C4 is a universal constant, so its dc will be in fact equal to 0. So what is this? You can see this is in fact 2pc square and divided by 2p square c square plus m naught square C4 to the power half, because here actually power will be minus half in numerator, and when you will take this term in denominator, then actually this power will become positive. So here I have written p square c square plus m naught square C4 whole to the power half. Now you can see this 2 will cancel out, and now you can see that this is pc square divided by this much, and this term square root of p square c square plus m naught square C4 is what? Actually this is equal to E. You can see here E square is equal to this much, so E will be a square root of this much. So this is E. And you have studied in the previous lecture, or you know from the famous Einstein's mass energy equivalence relation, that this total energy E is equal to mc square. E is equal to mc square. So you can see this c square will now cancel out, and our result is p by m. And you also know that momentum of this particle will be mv, and this is m, so m will also cancel out. So you can get a very interesting, or you can say a very simple result, that rate of change in total energy with respect to momentum is simply equal to velocity of the particle. So remember this is a very important formula, that due to unit change in momentum, the change in total energy is simply equal to velocity of the particle. So dE by dP equal to V. This is a most important formula, and you will find its use in solving the numerical problem. And if you remember it, you will find that at several places the solution of problem becomes very easy. Now, I am giving you just a simple technique or trick, you can say, to remember this very formula, E square equal to p square c square plus m naught square C4. In fact, to remember this formula, I am giving you a simple technique. Technique to remember the relation. Which relation? You know, E is equal to mc square, and this equal to root over p square c square plus m naught square C4. This is our result, you know. And to remember this, I am giving you a simple technique. In fact, let us draw a right angle triangle and take this base of this triangle equal to rest mass energy m naught c square, and this perpendicular of this right angle triangle equal to PC. Then you can see this p square c square plus m naught c square whole square, that will be a square root of that will be simply equal to this E, and E is actually equal to mc square, as you know. So if we denote a right angle triangle one side by m naught c square, you can also take this m naught c square here and PC here, you know it, and by the perpendicular of that triangle we denote this PC, then the hypotenuse of that right angle triangle will represent the total energy. So this is a very simple technique to remember this formula. Now we will discuss a very important idea about this about this relation containing the total energy and the total momentum of upper particle. So you have seen that actually this E is equal to P square C square plus m naught square C4 whole square root. In fact, in Newtonian mechanics, whenever you talk about the momentum, definitely there is a fact in your mind that a particle having mass only have momentum, because the basic definition of momentum is what? This is mass times velocity. So you always think that if a particle will have mass, only then that particle will have momentum. And it is in fact true in Newtonian mechanics. Newtonian mechanics में ये बात पूरी तरह से सही है कि मैसिव पार्टिकल में ही मोमेंटम होगा. But from the special theory of relativity, particularly by this result which we have written here, E equal to a square root of P square C square plus m naught square C4. From this result you can see that if a particle is even massless, even that the particle will have momentum. पार्टिकल अगर मासलेस भी है तो उसमें मोमेंटम होगा अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस रिलेटिविस्टिक फॉर्मूला. ऑल्दो इन न्यूटोनियन मैकेनिक्स द मोमेंटम ऑफ द पार्टिकल विल बी जीरो इफ इट्स मास इज जीरो. बट अकॉर्डिंग टू स्पेशल रिलेटिविटी ए पार्टिकल व्हिच हैव नो मास कैन हैव मोमेंटम. स्पेशल रिलेटिविटी कहता है कि अगर पार्टिकल में मास नहीं भी है तो उसमें मोमेंटम होगा, बशर्ते कि उसमें एनर्जी होता हो. सो लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल. सो यू कैन सी फ्रॉम हियर इफ m naught is equal to 0, it means we are considering a particle whose rest mass is equal to 0. And you know some example of it. You know rest mass of photon is 0. Example Gracia m naught equal to 0 for a photon and for you can say neutrino. So let us consider a particle like photon whose rest mass is actually equal to 0. In fact, in Newtonian mechanics there will be no momentum to a photon because photon has no mass. तो न्यूटोनियन मैकेनिक्स के टर्म में हम फोटोन के मोमेंटम को न्यूटोनियन मैकेनिक्स में डिफाइन ही नहीं कर सकते, उसको कहेंगे कि सिंपली जीरो है. बट इन रिलेटिविस्टिक मैकेनिक्स यू कैन सी इवन द रेस्ट मास ऑफ ए फोटोन इज जीरो, its energy will be not zero and its momentum is also not zero. So you can see if we consider a photon that is a massless particle whose rest mass is zero, then what will be in fact E? For it you can see here this term will actually vanish, and so this will be E equal to root over P square C square, and this is simply equal to Pc. So you can see actually a particle having zero rest mass will have energy, and that energy is equal to Pc. So E is equal to Pc. This relation between energy and momentum is valid for a particle whose rest mass is zero. So this is a relation between energy and momentum. Energy and momentum of a massless particle, like photon. So you can use this formula to define the energy of a photon. And so from this result you can see what will be the momentum of such a particle like photon. That will be simply equal to E over C. So you can see in terms of Newtonian mechanics we cannot define non-zero value of momentum of a photon, But in terms of a special theory of relativity, you can see that momentum of a photon is equal to simply energy of the photon E divided by c. So P equal to E by c, this will be the momentum of a particle whose rest mass is equal to 0. So this is also a very important fact. So in this lecture we have seen actually this mass, in fact mass energy equivalence relation was the subject matter of previous lecture, and in this lecture we have seen the relation between energy and momentum when the particle has rest mass non-zero and even when the particle has rest mass equal to 0. And after this actually we will solve some of the important numerical problems which will